sorry about that. I just spoke the first 30 seconds of the net preamble into my microphone for my HF rig. But we're about ready to start. Calling together all amateur radio operators, this is the weekly net of the M17 Project. I'm Ed, November 2, X-Ray Delta Delta, and I will be your net control station today. This net meets weekly on Fridays at 1700 hours UTC by means of the M17 Charlie Reflector. The purpose of this net is to relay and share information in regards to the M17 project. M17 is a new digital radio protocol in development as an alternative to those currently available, with freedom in mind. Freedom in the code, protocol, voice codecs, and hardware. The goal is to provide a better option for digital radios in the future. We encourage all amateur radio operators to check into this net. We will take check-ins followed by an informal roundtable to discuss all things M17 related. When checking into this net, please key your push to talk, and then wait approximately 2 seconds before speaking your call sign using proper ITU phonetics, your name, and your location, and if you have any information for that. Also, please try and keep your transmissions under 3 minutes. I will now stand by for regular net check-ins.
Hi guys, this is Sierra Papa 5 Whiskey Papa, Wojciech from Warsaw, the capital of Poland, and I have no traffic for today. Or maybe some later. Okay, back to net control.
This is Kilo Charlie 1, Alpha Whiskey Victor, KC1AWV, Steve, in Boston. Echolink. I have no traffic for the net.
This is AA4HS, Alpha 4, Hotel Sierra, Maitland, in Alexandria, Virginia, and I have no traffic for the net today.
India Uniform 2, Kilo Whiskey Oscar, Silvano from Milan, Italy. No traffic for the moment.
Okay, guys, we'll hold it up there for a second. Net Control wishes to recognize KC1AWV Steve. Steve, I know there was a double there, but you were winning, and then you dropped it, and Wojciech came in. SP5WWP, with no traffic, allegedly. AA4HS Maitland, thank you for joining us again. And Silvano, IUTKWO. Do we have any further check-ins for the M17 Project Weekly Net?
This is Kilo 9 Foxtrot Hotel, Phil, near Chicago, and I'm copying everyone through the Android Star on iOS, and I just was trying to check in on the TGIF link, and that one appears to be down. This is K9FH.
Okay, Phil. Thank you for checking in near Chicago there. K9FH recognized. Anybody else for the weekly M17 Project Net, please call Net Control. Okay, guys, I'll go back to check-ins in a little bit. Got a little bit of traffic today. I just want to let everybody know that our friends over at the Linux and Ham Shack podcast, they did an interview today with W5NYV, Michelle from the Open Research Institute. That'd be podcast number 415 from Linux and the Ham Shack. And check it out. There's a good 15 minutes or so worth of M17 chatter on there. So they always have a bunch of great information on their podcast. And check this one out. As in particular, there's a bunch of going on and behind-the-scene news about the M17 project. So check that out. All right, this is Ed, N2XDD, Net Control Station for the weekly M17 Project Net. And do we have anybody else wishing to check in? Please call Net Control. All right, guys. Doesn't look like we have all that many joining us today, but we can go down the line, see if anybody has anything to add there. Steve, I know you said you were coming in via Echolink today. We'll have one in the Echolink column there. Do you have any updates about anything going on in your part of the world?
Oh boy, I just ran around the office. I took like 3 laps around the office trying to find my lunch. Whew. But, let's see. Equipment is getting into the hands of the people that are doing the development, which is great. We have more updates on the repeater setup, but I'll let people that are responsible for that to get involved with that. Let's see. I've been working on a couple of other side projects unrelated to M17, but could be brought into M17. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it seems to be getting a little slow now that it's getting into summer. A lot of people are probably doing other things and, enjoying the weather as we have it, more development seems to be happening during for us, but I think that's because everybody's locked up inside. So yeah, with that, I'll go ahead and send it back over to Net Control. This is KC1AWV.
Hi, thank you, Steve, for the update there, and we hope you're able to find your lunch. Now you earned yourself a nice appetite, so enjoy. This is N2XDD. Net Control, do we have any late check-ins for the M17 Net? Please call Net Control now.
Kilo 5 Tango Uniform X-Ray, Ross, Southwest Missouri, using Dude Star. No comments from the net today. Just thought I'd check in. Skip on TUX. This is Kilo 1 Uniform Hotel, K1UH, Greg via Dude Star on a laptop. Just no traffic, just monitoring the weekly net.
Okay. Russ, K5TUX, thanks for checking in. We had just given a shout out a couple minutes ago in regards to episode 415, your interview with Michelle. Great interview there, by the way, and keep up the good work with your podcast. Greg, welcome back. K1UH, great to have you again with us this week. Anybody else to check into the M17 Project Net? SP5WWP Wojciech, how you doing today over there in Poland? Anything new and exciting that you'd like to update us with in regards to the M17 project?
Hey guys, I'm just watching the storm coming. It's raining in Warsaw. So, updates on M17. We are still working on the repeaters, so there's a lot of work to do. It's going to take about up to 2 weeks more to get the agreement, so I have to sign it. So that's 2 weeks more, and about 1 week for the company that's going to install the antenna and the feeder and the rack cabinet just around the chimney, so next to the chimney. So that's going to take another week. So probably we're going to start the repeater about in the first or second week of July, I suppose. And I know that OpenRTX guys have some updates on the OpenRTX and M17 integration. So maybe we should ask Redman, also known as Silvano, IU2KWO. So back to net control. This is SP5WWP.
Wojciech, thank you very much for the updates over there. And Silvano, one of our friends over at the OpenRTX.org project. How you doing today? How's things over in Italy? And what have you got new and exciting for us in the world of OpenRTX?
Okay, hi guys. Yeah, weather notice just finished raining here in Italy, by the way. No, back to serious mode. Updates from our side are that we finished the refactoring of the driver code, the radio driver code. So we have all the new shiny code base for radio management. We merged the development branch for the RTX drivers into master, so that this new part is now effectively online in some sense. This part is important because it's enabler effect for the M17 implementation, since we had to modify and review a big part of the radio drivers to make room for M17 transmission, more transmission than reception, because on MD380 and MD-UV380, to the reception of the M17 signal is not troublesome, while transmission is a bit more difficult. But anyway, we have laid the basis for M17 implementation. Nicolo is currently working in porting the Mobilinked code for M17 modulation to MD380. and he's waiting for me to implement a bunch of audio drivers for microphone sampling and baseband signal sampling, which I hope I will finish and do more than finish, do, because I have to begin in some days. I mean, it's not a huge work, so given that, we can effectively start testing our M17 modulation and implementation on MD-Phase0, which will be no more a pre-recorded signal, but an online sampling of the microphone and modulation and transmission. Once transmission is set up, debugged and running, we can switch to reception. Meanwhile, I refactored the USB virtual COM port driver to make it working again. And this allows us to sample using the internal ADC of the MD-Phase0 microcontroller to sample the incoming M17 signal and to see how it's shaped. I mean, Wojciech proved that an MD-Phase0 is able to receive and demodulate through an external sound card the M17 signal. We have to test the sampling using the internal ADC. And to do that, we need the serial port to transmit data. More or less, that's it, I think. But if I remember some other pieces I forgot in this long description, I will tell you back later. Okay, back to net control.
All right there. Silvano, thank you very much for the updates there. You wound up timing out my note here, but pretty much got everything you said. And we want to thank you and the rest of the people at openrtx.org for the hard work that you guys are doing, both with your project and with implementing M17 into it. We definitely appreciate it. For those listening, if you're not familiar with the OpenRTX project, please check them out at openrtx.org, where you can find all sorts of information and documentation in regards to their project. This is N2XDD Net Control Station for the weekly M17 Net. Going to see if we have any late check-ins. Any late check-ins, please call Net Control.
Here's K5XD, Kilo Echo 5X for Delta, David in Detroit.
I had a station ending in Delta. Can you please come again?
Maybe I didn't give enough time there. Yes, this is David. Kilo Echo 5 X-Ray Delta. David in Detroit. Just heard about this net about 5 minutes ago. Back to you.
David, welcome. Welcome, we appreciate it. Two questions for you, Dave. When did you find out about our net, and how are you accessing the M17 Charlie Reflector? Back over to you.
Okay, I just found out about it from another David in California there on the Peanut channel. On Peanut English, KF6 DGN, probably listening. And I'm accessing it on my Android cell phone with the Droid Star app. So droid strap. Yeah, this is like my third contact on M17. I barely knew that it worked because I was on here maybe a month or two ago on a different channel. So anyway, David just was telling people about it, so I just switched over and found you. So good to hear you, and we'll try to get it on our calendar or whatever. Beautiful day here in Michigan. Back to net from KE5XD.
Up, David. Pass the word along. We're here every Friday afternoon at 1700 hours UTC by means of the M17 Charlie Reflector. Tell your friends. We're all licensed amateur radio operators are welcome here. So glad to have you. And I think I saw VE3 MIC up on my dashboard. Mike, are you out there? Anything else with any questions, comments, or anything else you'd like to talk about in regards to M17?
Net control, KC2, DPJ.
Kilo Foxtrot 6, Delta Golf November.
Can you just come back to me with your name, location, and how you are accessing the M17 Charlie Reflector, please?
Net control, is that the KC2 DPJ?
DPJ from N2XDD.
Net control, the name is Jim in upstate New York, and I just had a quick question.
Welcome, Jim. And for me, anything above Yonkers is upstate New York. So, what's your question there? Go ahead with it, KC2 DPJ.
Roger that, more specifically Western New York. My apologies. Quick question. I've seen that some reflectors have been added to the list. However, there is not a dashboard associated with that reflector for about 3 or 4 of them that I've checked. Are they going to put up a dashboard? Is the project requiring them to have a dashboard, or it's strictly how they want to set up their reflector info?
Okay, Jim, great question. And lucky for you, we have our dashboard / reflector guru, who's probably mid-bite into his Friday lunch. But I think we're going to bother him anyway. Steve, KC1AWV. Jim's question was, in regards to the newer reflectors that have been coming on the air for the M17 project, some of them do not have dashboards. Is there a requirement? Back over to you, Steve.
Okay, yeah, this is KC1AWV, and that's a really good question. So back when we were originally doing all of the reflector registration stuff, there was a manual process that double-checked to make sure that the dashboard address that they provide when registering the reflector was actually up and running. Due to
so many things going on, not to mention, daily life and work and whatnot. That manual check has not been 100% reliable. The major issue that we notice is that people are using dynamic IPs and dynamic DNS, and that runs into an issue where if your client doesn't update the information in DNS, the dashboard will disappear. And, unfortunately, that is just kind of par for the course when it comes to people running their own reflectors. They like to run them at home. And, when you run things from home, you are generally, not always, but generally using a dynamic IP address, and you can't get SSL certificates for dynamic IP addresses. You can get SSL certificates for something that has a dynamic DNS resolver, which is kind of interesting. Kind of breaks the whole idea of the SSL certificate, but that's neither here nor there. We're not going to nitpick RFCs when it comes to that sort of thing. But yeah, it's up to the responsibility of the reflector owner to put their dashboard public and make it available. If you do notice that there is a reflector dashboard that is not running, go ahead and send an email over to contact@m17.link, and we'll reach out to that reflector owner and see if we can resolve the issue for them. But yeah, it's generally considered a requirement, but there's idiosyncrasies when it comes to making sure that these things are up. So yeah, just send us an email, and we can reach out to that reflector owner and let them know, hey, your dashboard's not public. We need that to be there. If it's not, then it could result to delisting. So I hope that answers the question. This is KC1AWV, back to Net.
Net Control, KC2DPJ with a follow-up.
Go ahead, Jim.
Well, the main reason why I inquired is because if there isn't a dashboard, how do you know what module to put in to be able to utilize that reflector?
Hi, Steve.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and respond direct. But yeah, again, we're not the reflector dashboard police. It's the responsibility of the reflector owner to maintain their records. If you do notice that there is an issue with a reflector not having a public dashboard listed or available, send an email to contact@m17.link. We will reach out to that reflector owner, let them know that they're not showing their public dashboard, and it could result in delisting from the public reflector list. Again, I'm not going to go out and double check and make sure that the reflectors all have a dashboard. If you do notice it, just let us know. There's just not enough time in the day for us to be able to go around and double check to make sure that the reflectors have pages listed. It is checked when they do the initial, request to be listed, but after that, it's the owner's responsibility to make sure that it's there. Kind of think of it like, registering a vehicle. Sure, you get the registration, everything's all hunky-dory, but it's up to the owner of the vehicle to make sure that they register their vehicle every year. It's not up to the DMV to go after them and say, hey, you haven't registered your car. Hey, you haven't registered your car. That's just, we can't sit there and take a look. But if somebody does notice it, please do email us and we'll follow up.
Roger that. Appreciate the information. KC2DPJ back to net control.
Before you go, was there any in particular reflector that you were referring to?
Well, I have noticed, and it's been for the longest time, it's been on for quite a while, 334, which I believe, I don't know, is that the Alabama link? But I have no idea. But the call sign kind of indicates Alabama link. And then there was one that was relatively new, NYC, which I'm presuming is New York City.
Okay, very good. I will take a look into the NYC one, as that's a local project here. Pretty sure we had a dashboard up, but I will check with the gentleman who is maintaining the M17 NYC reflector. So thank you for the heads up, and we'll take note of those two. We appreciate it. Once again, this is the weekly M17 Project Net. I'm Ed, and 2XDD. I'm your net control station. Do we have any other check-ins or anybody else with any questions or comments? Please call now.
KF6 VGN, Kilo Foxtrot 6, Delta Golf November.
November 8, Victor, November Romeo, Kevin in North Carolina, no traffic. Via DroidStar.
Thank you, Kevin. We got you there. Kilo Foxtrot 6 DGN. Please come back to net control with your name, location, and how are you reaching out to us today on the M17 Charlie reflector, and how did you hear about us?
KF6DGN, name is David. I'm in Canyon Lake, California, which is north of San Diego, east of Los Angeles. I originally heard about it through, I was looking at the TGIF DMR dashboard, saw the M17 talk group active, and went in there, but that was a couple weeks ago. Tried that method today, but I couldn't connect. There was no connection, I guess. Anyway, Phil told me to come over to M17 on DudeStar and showed me how to get there. So that's how I'm accessing it now through DroidStar to the group. So thanks for the welcome, and thanks for running the net, KF6 DGN.
Hi, Dave. Thank you very much. And Phil, thanks for the referral there. We appreciate all the newcomers coming along here. So, anybody else with any questions, comments, check-ins? Call net control.
Kilo Delta 2, Uniform Quebec Kilo. Rob in Deer Park, late check-in.
Two, UQK, Rob. Welcome once again to the M17 net, and we'll speak afterwards. I got a question in regards to the dashboard for M17-NYC. But welcome, Rob. Nice to have you here again. Anybody else with any questions, comments, or late check-ins?
J3ZHI.
All right, station G3ZHI. Welcome. Please come back with your name and your location. And how are you reaching us today?
Yeah, well, it's a good question from J3ZHI. I'm on the DudeStar, and it wasn't working, but I solved the problem. And it was just one of the settings. I got the IPv checked, and you don't need it check-in. The name's Ian. I'm in South Yorkshire. So, yeah, if anybody's interested in free magazines, you've only got to go to QRZ and see my postings. And you can get the CQ magazine for free now. Over. Latest edition.
Okay, Ian, thank you for checking in here with us today. And Thank you for that in regards to the CQ magazine. Anybody else with any questions, comments, or check-ins? Once again, we are the M17 Project, and information about us can be found at M17Project.org, and you can find links to our forums, the various spots you may interact with us on social media. We have a very big presence on IRC, a very active IRC channel, which is linked to Discord and Matrix, and pretty much probably about 20 hours out of the day, there is a member of the M17 team on there. We'll be able to answer some of your questions. So please feel free to join us. You can find us at M17 on YouTube, and there's also an M17 Facebook page as well, and of course M17 Project on Twitter. So we're all around. Check us out. See what's new and exciting in the world of M17. To anybody else with any comments, questions, or elite check-ins? All right, gentlemen, with me, we make 15 tonight. 15 people checked into the net. It's a pretty decent number there. We appreciate everybody who took time out of their day to come and join us. Before we wrap this up, anything to add from anybody? Alrighty. I'd like to thank all those stations that checked in today for participating and supporting this net. Your help in maintaining it is appreciated by one and all. This is Ed, November 2, X-Ray Delta Delta. The time is 17:38 hours UTC, and the net is now secure. 7-3.